Good day, creative soul. Did you know that you are just oozing with creativity? It is so true. From the words that we choose, from the ways we respond, every bit of motion, emotion in life is a creative endeavor. And with that is our ability to respond moment to moment and choose how we want to create. That is creativity at its finest. That is a life we are creating. And that is what we're exploring in our new 30 Days of Summer Creative Journaling by Marva Midkiff. Thank you so much, Marva, for taking the time over in the art room to create this season's 30-day journey into our creativity. So good. So, August 1st, this marks the kickoff for this new journey. The journey is available over on Intention Inspired in the art room. You can find a link for that in the description. And today, this morning, we synced up on a call, as we do every week, to check in and play and explore and share and la-da-da-da-da. And today's kickoff call was so good, so juicy, so fun, so it needs no more introduction. So please enjoy our community call for the kickoff of 30 Days of Creativity, created and hosted by Marva Midkiff. And if you'd like to join us, it is never too late. Come on over to the art room. Come play with us.
There you are. So, the beginning of the Summer Creative Journal journey. Welcome, everybody who's here. Thank you for joining us. And everybody who's watching from the replay. So, I did something a little different this time. Oh, by the way, I'm Marva Midkiff, and I am in Southern Oregon, for those of you who didn't know that already. We did something a little different this time around because summer is such a energy-charged season, and see if we can line that up a bit. There's lots of things to do, and at this particular time, well, we're still in a little bit of a flux, but we just got done being kind of stuck in our house for a really long time. So as we're able to move out, it feels really busy. And it feels like ketchup. And it feels like not ketchup like you put on a hot dog, but ketchup like we have to catch up with our lives, go out and be in places and stuff. And so what I tried to do with this particular journey is condense the words, the information, give us a little less work to do, but still keep us committed to our creativity practice on a daily basis. So obviously you can get as involved with one question as it can take as long as you need. This is your journey, but it's designed to be able to be done in 10-15 minutes. So it just felt like with the busyness that was and really summer is the busy season. I mean, we've done our planting, we're playing for summer. And so we don't want to get in the way of playing. No, no, we do not. Anyway, so we always start all of our journaling journeys with a commitment, and summer is no different. We make our commitment to our daily creative practice. So that brings us to the next phase of, well, before I move on to that, does it seem like we're in a kind of a transitional, really almost, it can go either way, really exciting or really anxietal time as we move out of what we've been doing for the last year and into summer, into a little bit more activity and going out of our house and being around more people. I mean, I've heard both sides of the coin now. A lot of people are very excited and a lot of people are kind of hesitant, and that creates, they want to get out of their space, but they're just a little bit hesitant on that. And I think that's kind of unprecedented. I don't think that's a normal state of being for the season of summer, but summer is heightened energy. So no matter what energy you're carrying, it's going to be elevated and heightened because that's the sun.
Well,
the sun connects to the sun connects to us in a way.
Well, it's going to bring more to you.
Right.
Of the feeling of whichever way it's going to go. Because right. I feel it in other aspects, not just because of the pandemic, but other aspects. It's bleeding over into other parts.
Energy is energy, and all energy is connected. So whether we're talking about the energy of creativity or the energy of fear or the energy of abundance, no matter what energy we're talking about, summer is...
You know what I'm grateful for?
Summer is expanding and heightening that energy, making it a little bit more intense. So it does affect everything. And you can kind of tell that, does my internet connection's unstable?
There was a little delay. I can hear you fine, though.
Can you? Okay. Yeah. If need be, I'll switch to my phone because...
I'm going to be right back.
Okay.
I need my glasses. Okay. You go ahead.
Can I just interrupt for a moment with a moment of gratitude? Can you hear me all right?
Yes.
Awesome. Yeah, I feel the summer energy full force. And I am so grateful for you, Marva, and you prompting us in your winter creative journaling, in your spring creative journaling, to get clear on who we are and what we want. Because now that summer is in full motion, I can say no to things with a very clear, nope, doesn't align, yes, absolutely yes, or hell no. And it's so nice to be able to make that clear distinction, as opposed to like, oh yeah, I want that, oh I want that too, oh I don't know about that.
Yeah.
It's like yes, no, yes, no, okay, let's go. That's so sweet. So thanks for priming us for summer.
That was my plot. that was my vision to begin with, is the more you know, the more creatively you can go about your choice making, your dream finding, your curiosity, the more that you know about your own value system, regardless of labels, rules, and regulations of the outside, the more you know about you and your own personal light and dark, your own personal things that make you excited, things that make you feel fulfilled. That's what I'm looking for right there. Things that fulfill you. And we think that the more we do, the more fulfilled we'll get. When it really isn't a doing, it's a being. Yeah. So the more clear we can be with our own preferences, the more those choices become clear. The yes, the no, the personal boundary becomes relevant, because I know that this does not align with my values. I know that this is not a creative choice. This is a conditioned choice. And once you know those things, then you can more accurately, that doesn't mean you're not going to step into the unknown at some point in time, but you'll know right off the bat if it's following your own preferences, your own values, your own state of being. And you'll be able to set your personal boundary in a different spot. Those are always fluid anyway. Mm-hmm. You know, as you grow, your personal boundaries move and change, because you know more about who you are and how you want to do what you do. Mm-hmm. Amanda, want to chime in on this?
Oh yeah, I was gonna say definitely. I agree. For summer, it kind of pushed me to do more things, and I really like the fact that you put summer out so we can understand more about summer. What's all about, how to activate the creativity for summer.
Yeah.
Understand all about summer.
Summer's my favorite season, right up until it gets past 100 degrees, and then I question that. I like the feeling of heightened energy. I like the feeling of, I like being warm. I don't like being cold. But as we found out this year, I don't know, whoever's living on the West Coast has found out for sure that, 115 degrees is a little bit more summer than I like. That's hot. And so then I just stay inside and sit at the art table. But that's okay too. So let's see. I didn't get a chance to write down the days, but I know that part of summer. Okay, so we know that in winter we rested, we went within, we examined our state of being. We hibernated, because that's the time of year. The world is resting. The earth is resting. Hopefully we were resting to whatever degree we were able to rest. And then spring is busy, but busy with potential, because that's when we are planting seeds, whether those are literal seeds or whether those are the seeds of a dream or a choice or whatever we're planting. These are my intentions, and now my intentions I can plant things to make them grow. Summer is the season of trusting the process, of knowing that what you planted in the spring is going to grow into the exact thing that feeds your soul. And that's actually kind of exciting from a creative journaling standpoint, because all that work that we did, even the resting work that we did in the winter, and then the planting and the preparing and the sowing that we did in the spring, if we try to control and manipulate our garden, what you notice is that you don't have the beautiful biome synchronicity when you overwater, you're out there mucking around in the garden, and you're actually taking a little, you're not leaving it up to the universe to decide how this garden is going to grow. So you won't have as many worms, you won't have your earth will not have as much nutrients in it, because you pulled out all the weeds and you made sure there were no bugs, and you put down some pesticide, and you did all of these things. But a rich biome allows the process to be allows us to trust the process. And the process is setting your intention. And I find that the journal is the best place to set that intention, because I can write that thing down. It will be in my subconscious the entire time that I'm creating a page. And anything that comes up, I can put it down on that sheet, the paper, whatever you're working with. And then I can walk away. And that's the trust in the process. I'm putting this out to the universe that this is my intention. This is what I want to create. And then I am going to leave it up to the universe to do its job. Universe, God, source, whatever you want to call it. The higher energy that exists. But if what we have to do is control that and continually look, oh, it's been 10 minutes. Did it show up yet? Did I manifest that thing I was shooting for? If you have to guide that process with fear or control, or which are all basically the same big pool of fear, it's not going to work out if I don't follow it, if I don't look at it every second, if I don't manage it, it won't happen. Trusting the process means you let it go, and the universe delivers. Ask and you shall receive. That's how it works. And it works beautifully. Beautifully. We're almost always only battling ourselves. So, it seems like there's a whole lot of more things to battle, but our biggest battle is our own expectations and our own fear and our own need to control an outcome. And that's the one thing I love about the creative journal. There is no control over the outcome, because it could look, let's see what we have. It could look like that, Or it could look like, oh, things are falling out. Apparently I use that to, it could look like that. I mean, it's nonsensical. It can be anything that you need it to be at any given moment. It could look like that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it is what it is. So the disconnecting from the outcome, hugely important in all creative endeavor. Of course, if you're building a wall, you know that there are rules to building a wall. You don't want your wall to fall down in the middle of your dinner or whatever. But as you're building that wall, you have an understanding that there are particular things that have to go a particular way. You can struggle through building that wall and still come out with a wall, or you can joyfully build that wall knowing that that wall's never going anywhere. You already know the rules. We all already know the rules. The rules all live in here. So whether you're building a wall, whether you're digging a ditch, whether you're just having a really tough conversation with a person, you choose one way or the other to address that in a creative manner, or to address it in a conditioned, learned from years and years of conditioning. Address it that way. You can tell the difference. You can feel the difference between the two of them. Are you curious about how you're going to build the wall? You know, or do you just already know this is going to be a struggle, and oh darn it, I have to build a wall.
Can I give a quick example? Because I was building a wall last night. Oh my gosh. Okay,
that's
so
amazing.
Been building a wall. I'm on the final layers of this wall of the sandcastle, the small little alternate dwelling unit that I'm building, and using like a sand plaster for the finished interior look. So I spent like two or 3 hours just watching videos on different types of Venetian plaster, stucco, like all these different styles, and like, what do I want? Which is the best? Especially like based on the materials that I have. How do you mix the different materials? And I feel like all that, when it comes to, say, the creative journal, is like, there are very practical techniques when, say, watercoloring. You need some water. You need some colors. There's a million different ways to integrate those two onto the page, but there are very specific ways in going about it. And I realized last night while applying the plaster, I was stuck in this conditioning of like these techniques that some guy on YouTube decided to put up on, who knows if he was doing it right. And then there was a moment where I was like, what am I doing? And I was more connected with the process of what I was doing. And I started to just kind of like develop my own style of putting it on. And I could see the shift both in the process and my attention with it just became so much more light and playful and more confident in my process, because I was more with it, as opposed to, am I doing this right? Like one guy said, you should kind of do like this kind of motion, and I don't forget this. And then I feel like that's just inherent with any type of process, like just the fundamentals of how do I dip the paintbrush into the thing and put it on. But then there's like this breakthrough moments that happen where that it just flows a little more effortlessly. And it's just, I love that analogy you used because it happened to me last night. And then fortunately happened earlier on, and then I continued through midnight, which I like rarely do. I'm kind of like bed by 10, 11, up early, but I just totally lost track of time, and I just got into that flow, finished the whole wall, and I almost cried when I like stepped back and looked at it. It was so beautiful.
Cool.
So beautiful. Anyway, love that analogy. I feel that. Still feel it. So.
Just have to say to anybody watching, Matt and I did not discuss this wall building thing before the beginning of the call. So I had no idea he was building a wall. But yeah, perfect analogy. Couldn't you feel the difference between, am I doing this right? Am I moving the trowel correctly? How is this flowing? Is this right? Is this thick? Is this thin? To that state of being where you're just like, that's all mine stuff. I'm making my wall.
And then all of a sudden, options open up. I was like, I could just take the plaster in my hand and just apply it with my hands. And then I was like, I'm trying to heal my wrist. I just got approved for movement, switched the trowel into my left hand, very slowly started doing the motions that I was supposed to be doing to start introducing movement into my wrist.
Right.
And so all of a sudden, all these fun, different ways of playing with the process open up. And yeah, so
there
beautiful.
You go. You can really feel the difference between struggling your way through a process or creatively being in the moment, being there with the process.
Allowing the process.
Yeah, allowing.
Mm-hmm.
Allowing is a big word for summer.
I fight with that. I am so technique oriented, where I feel like I should do it the way I saw someone do it, that I liked what it turned out like. And so then I fight against myself because it doesn't quite work the same way. And so then I'm like, oh, that doesn't look the same. I'm so mad. And, I'm like, it's art. It's not duplication. It's not reproduction. It's art. Calm down. I really have to talk to myself and tell myself it's not somebody else's thing. This is something you're doing for yourself. And boy, that's letting it go. It's a big one.
That's kind of a new thing that I've been doing lately is I'm an avid, ever since Google and YouTube and all these information highways became available to us, because that is not where I started. I started the library.
Right.
And I could stay in the library for 6 hours researching anything with no problem. But now I have this device that I can literally find 18 different ways of doing the exact same thing. And so I noticed that, for some things like building the wall, it's important to know the process of building the wall.
Yeah.
But for other things, like writing the summer creative journal, that's my soul I'm writing. So why am I looking for an authority on information that's coming from my soul? I'm looking on Google for a different interpretation of what an intention is. I struggle with that a little bit, because I get my intentions and my affirmations and all of these words, I get them all kind of mixed up, and they kind of all look the same to me. But I did find in the dictionary, which you actually could find in a library, a dictionary, without somebody else's input, some higher authority, I decided I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that this time around. I'm not going to go looking for a higher authority, because I'm pretty clear on my message of creativity and how important it is to a state of being, to our state of being, not only to our state of being, but the energy that we give off to the entire world as a state of being. And that's the amazing thing about summer, is with heightened energy, you can, especially if you're a feeler, if you can feel that energy, that heightened energy, then it doesn't take you very long to assess the feeling place of a room with people in it, let's say, or messages. If you happen to be on Facebook, messages on Facebook, you can almost feel whatever the feeling is that comes from reading a particular post or whatever. But when the energies are heightened, you can quickly identify what's going on, rather than, was that what I was feeling? I don't know. And for me, a feeling place is the end all of the conversation, because once I can feel it, then it's reality to me. And that's my state of being most of the time, is a feeling place. I don't see pictures in my head. Like, I'm not a visual person at all, which is kind of weird considering I do art. But it comes from a feeling place. It doesn't come from a vision that I have already pre-done in my head. But that leads us into our next, before, I don't want to run out of time, before we actually set the stage here for the difference between, we just got done with the Artist's Way, and for all of the people who followed us through those 12 weeks of the Artist's Way, it was a fabulous journey. And Julia Cameron and I have very, we think the same thoughts on a lot of things. But creativity is a state of being, not a state of doing. Art is a state of doing. You take your creativity and you create a piece of art. You create a wall. You create a ditch, depending. But when I say creativity is a state of being, what I mean is that same choice that we were talking about earlier. The choice of struggling through your whole life. Struggle through your life, or become curious as to, what are these repeated patterns that I keep seeing? Why does this person always bother me? How can I do this repetitive thing like dishes that I do every single day? How can I make that an experience rather than a responsibility? How can I make this an experience rather than a responsibility? And there you have it. That is the creative state of being. It's very hard to define what creativity means. So for any new people who are joining us that haven't already heard this 1,000 times, creativity is a state of being. And we can choose. Every human is creative. All human things that have been done through a process of creativity. We would not evolve without it, because We are always looking for a more efficient, a better in quotations, a different, a more expansive way of being. That's what human is. Art is a different. Art is what you make while you're being creative, if you care to. But the point is that your entire life can be art. You're doing the dishes can be an act of being artistic, if you choose it to be that. So does that mean if all of a sudden we adopt this idea of being a creative being, which you all are, every single person on the planet, it's a human gift. It's a human state of being. We are all creative. Now, do we want to participate in our own creativity, or do we just want to stay in our conditioned mindset and do a repetitive hamster wheel type of a thing, where we do the same thing over and over and over again, and it always feels the same? That's a long that's a long journey right there. That hamster wheel where nothing grows, nothing is created. Well, something is created, because you're probably making that weird squeaky noise that hamsters make, you know, a billion times a day. At any rate,
it probably sounds different. It sounds like, oh, I just don't even know why this keeps happening.
Yes. Yeah, it does.
Instead of
yeah, but really the same. It's like one side is saying, why does this always happen to me? Or why is this person always doing this to me? Or why is the world so horrible? And on this side, it's going like a hamster wheel. Yeah, exactly. The critics in your head, the conditioning that you already have built throughout your whole life, ways of coping. Love that kind of, love to send you that message. Okay, you tried it. It's been 5 minutes. You tried it. That's cool. Now go back to being miserable, would you please? Because that is my level of comfortability. Well, you can choose that. And in some cases, you probably will. I mean, we're humans, for crying out loud. Sometimes being miserable is what feels the most comfortable. And so sometimes we're going to rest there. But do you want to rest there for your whole 24-hour span? You know, I don't like feeling miserable. However, I also don't like feeling petrified either, you know? And so when I have to step up to my own expansion, I just step into an unknown and I don't know what's going to happen. There's a moment of contemplation there, all learned, you know, and multiple fears. I mean, we'll go into this throughout the journal journey, just like we did with spring and winter. But we're going to play a lot more, because that's what summer's about. Playing, becoming comfortable with the idea of playing. You know, do we have to be responsible grown-ups all the time? No, I don't want to. I don't want to. I really, really, truly, I've had a couple of 2, 3, and 4-year-olds down here in the art room, and we have had multiple tools of paint throwers. Could be bottles full of paint, could be a roller, could be hands. Hands are almost the best for throwing paint. And that's what we did. We just threw paint at the wall. Well, it was covered with paper, but still, so much fun to be had. And man, if you're 4 years old and you're throwing paint at a wall, you are having some kind of fun there. That's a thing to watch right there. It's like, oh, time for me to go learn body surfing again. You know, why not? That's the fun of summer. Okay, somebody else talk now.
That was so good. That was so good. Well, one thing that kept coming up for me when listening was the fact that it's a choice. I've heard it over and over, and it's becoming more and more clear to me. I mean, even happiness, it's a choice. It's a choice. It's a choice. There's the response that just naturally happens, but then there's that sacred pause and that, oh, I'm in control here. I can choose my response to this. Or, excuse me, there's the reaction. So I'm curious, because I firmly believe we are all creative and we all have that capacity to choose to respond in a playful, creative way. A lot of that seems to be subconscious patterning. And I trust a lot of what we do in our creative journals is repatterning, a lot of unlearning, a lot of restructuring how we'd like to reorient to our world. Something you've said often, how we do one thing is how we do everything. And so what a safe, forgiving, low risk place to practice in our creative journals. Not so much on a wall. A wall does need.
Yeah, no. Don't try this at home unless you have a dedicated wall.
Yeah. So, I'm curious, what helps you moment to moment, maybe outside of your creative journal? What helps you make that choice? What helps you have the empowered decision to change your reality in the moment of one that embraces and accepts what is and merges with it, with creativity, with play, with joy? Because I would like to do more of that.
Really, Matt? I think you already do. But
to Matt, also, yeah, I want to know as well, like, how do we get unstuck? If it's coming from us, our biggest battle is really from us, for us to change. And so how do we get unstuck from things from miserable to, and what we've been preconditioned and conditioned to, and what we have thought, to that place of where, no, I will be free. This will be my response, and to get out of where we have been as well.
I imagine that there are multiple ways of going about it, but I know what I do. When I can remember, when I haven't already crossed into the place where I'm willing to suffer instead of make a conscious choice. Because there are those moments. Your conditioning is really sneaky, and by this time has learned to set its own boundaries within your state of being. So my trick is to take one breath really slowly in and out. At the moment when I start to feel, you can feel that. You can feel that when you pop in and out of conditioning. that's, and if you can't feel it yet, start practicing that. Start practicing that feeling place where you can tell the difference between an automatic reaction to something that somebody says, a trigger that gets you every time somebody says this thing a particular way, you can feel that. There's an actual feeling place, almost like in your stomach. And those are the things that you're looking for. And that's when I take my breath. When I start to feel that response starting to come, because I guarantee if you're dealing with a co-creator, another human being, they'll continue to play out their role in seeing where you are on the scale. They're not going to stop and pause with you. They're just going to keep on talking.
That's their part.
That's their
part in you being in the moment or you going out.
Exactly.
You can see it's a conscious.
Why you brought them in?
Yeah.
Why you brought them in the first place, to see.
Yes. How are you going to handle this?
Right.
Where is your balance?
It's all a big giant test, but that is how I do it. I take one breath, and in the moment that I can do that breath, I get to choose. Now, I might choose to continue to suffer. I might choose to go ahead and use my conditioning and react. That could happen, especially if somebody sneaks up on me and I don't have time to take my breath. But, and I'm not just saying that this applies to other people, because it certainly does not. They're just there as an invitation to you to see how solid you are on your ground. You know, do you have the courage to create?
So courage was the word that I was going to say.
Yes.
Courage.
Because it does take courage to create.
Does. Yeah.
On so many different levels. Mm-hmm. Because as you create, you change, you step into the unknown more often. Mm. So
you step into the allowance.
That's a full life.
Yeah.
Which can be scary.
That's a full life, and it might be full of a whole bunch of garbage, but it's also full of excitement and curiosity and expansion and making something out of nothing. I pick that. But that's all it takes. It takes me remember to take that breath, to tone that feeling place down, so that I have one moment, one small pause to make my choice on how I'm going to proceed. What is it, a second, 2 seconds? You know, but a reaction doesn't even take a second. That's pretty much an automatic response. You can tell when you're in conditioning because your responses are that fast.
It's conditioning, yes.
That fast. Where creativity is a little more mindful. You've taken your breath. If you start to feel like it's time to make a choice.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I read this. I was going to say something because I saw this quote about reactions as well. It said, your immediate reaction does not tell you who you are. It is how you decide to respond after the reaction that gives you real insight into how much you have grown. Your first reaction is your past. Your intentional response is your present.
Love it.
That's cool. Yeah. That's what we're talking about. Just that tiny moment to choose. And then it doesn't stop there either. And we're going to go into this quite a bit in the summer journal. In fact, I'm on the day where I'm actually explaining this, but this should be done on a daily basis, and that is celebrating the small wins. You take that moment that you took that breath and you chose creativity rather than old conditioned response, and you throw yourself a party.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
you celebrate that.
Yeah.
That 7 seconds of joy or whatever it is, where it takes 7 seconds to remember something that brings you joy. And then the next 7 seconds, something else will come to it. 7 seconds, something else. And pretty soon you're doing a couple hours of joyful, mindful living rather than wallowing in your reaction of, your conditioning, whatever. But they say, Abraham, who I do listen to a bit, says just, yeah, right? Take that 7 seconds. Think of one thing, just one thing that brings you joy. First of all, it'll make that negative. That'll go away. Whatever that was forcing you to react will cease to be an issue. Yep. Yeah.
Good practice. It's good practice.
Tough.
I love playing with that. I love playing with all of the different ideas there are of ways to be creative in your life. And some of them are really out there. Some of them are really silly. Some of them are really intense. But the playing, the whole thing is the playing. Do you have to be a grown-up 24 hours a day? Do you? I mean, of course, you're going to sleep some and you're going to eat some. But I mean, even eating, sometimes there are so many rules to what you have to eat. You don't even get to be curious or
joyful
or
creative. You're like, I know what I'm supposed to be eating.
Yeah. I mean, you're on the plan.
But I'm having this ice cream now.
Yeah.
I love it.
Ice cream for dinner. Yay.
Yeah.
Now, just to be clear, I did not raise my kids eating ice cream for dinner. However, that could have been a flaw.
I see it as well.
We should have had ice cream for dinner. However, I will tell you one story of creative food. We ate our whole dinner, which was spaghetti. And I don't advise this because spaghetti is very messy. We ate our whole dinner with no plates and no utensils.
Yeah.
We just put the spaghetti in the middle of the table and the salad next to it and the French bread next to that. And everybody ate with their hands and their face. The only problem is that can quickly turn into a food fight because there is no boundaries.
Yeah.
And so I did do quite a bit of spaghetti sauce cleaning off the walls after the food fight. However,
the stains on the curtains and the walls.
It was great fun not to have the boundaries of forks, knives, spoons, and plates. Just here's the table, here's the spaghetti, eat it. It was really fun.
It was fun. It was fun.
Yep. The look on everybody's face when they sat down and there wasn't any silverware and there wasn't any plates. They're like, what do we do with this? What is expected of me now? Dig in. That's what is expected. Yep.
Your choice.
They quickly got the hang of it.
Yeah.
That thought came into my head as well. when you were talking about, taking away the conditioning and doing something differently, to create a different experience, that exact scenario popped into my head. Exactly. And so when you started to say that, I'm like, yeah, I remember that one. It was fun.
That might have been one of the more might have been one of the more sideline creative endeavors.
Where was I for all this?
Mm-hmm.
You weren't born yet, ma'am.
I was in high school.
All the fun stuff happens before I'm born.
I'm sorry, but there's too much stuff in the dining room right now to have a spaghetti fight.
I don't feel like helping clean all that up anyway right now. I got enough of a mess over here.
Yeah, right.
So, one other thing that I did. Oh my gosh. See how time flies when you're having fun.
This is how it goes.
We get in the flow, we get in the creative flow, we start talking, we start yakking, we start throwing around spaghetti, and what happens? Time is just goes. But one more thing before we bail, and then let's all do a gratitude to end our conversation. But I did want to say that I finally did find out the difference between an intention and an affirmation. And so I just wanted to say that because every day on the summer journaling journey, we do have an intention and we do have an affirmation. And sometimes I'm not totally clear if I'm writing an intention or an affirmation. But so here are the rules. No rules. There's no rules in the art room. But here is the premise I'm going forward with. An intention is a guiding principle for how you want to be, live, and show up in the world. And we're kind of big on intentions here at Intention Inspired. So I want to make sure that I'm not writing affirmations. I'm actually writing an intention. And so an intention
Can you say it one more time?
Yes.
The definition.
An intention is a guiding principle for how you want to be, live, and show up in the world. And I'll tell you one I did yesterday. The intention was act with courage. Because that is part of my core values, is to step out of the comfortable and into the unknown. And so as I learn more about opening up that door, that unknown door, I want to, as I have intuitional feelings of a direction to go, I want to have the courage to step in. Whether anybody else agrees or doesn't agree, whether I am afraid or not afraid, because we're not going to get there without fear. Fear, we have it. We have it for our survival, but we don't have to have it in all instances. We're not going to step in front of a bus if we're sitting at the art table. So the fear, walking through the fear of selling my art, it's a big one for me. So that is my intention, is to act with courage. And that's an intention. Now, affirmation is positive statements that can inspire or reshape limiting beliefs. So an affirmation is like, your critic keeps saying, you don't have enough time to do art. You don't have enough time to journal. You don't have enough time to be creative. Your affirmation will be, my my time is important. I take the time to create, or something along those lines. You guys get that.
Can you reread
So I just wanted to
working definition of affirmation again?
Affirmation: positive statements that can inspire or reshape limiting beliefs.
Nice.
So an affirmation is just kind of like a response to conditioning, basically.
Changing the reality in your own head into something positive from what you're limiting yourself with.
Right.
Yeah.
And really, it's really cool to write that down as soon as you hear it. I mean, if your conditioning is saying over and over again that you're not, you're too old, then your affirmation is a rebuttal to that thought. That is your limiting belief. So that's the premise I'm going under, is the reframe of those limiting beliefs that we have. They keep us, in our box, keep us toned down. I'm an advocate for not being toned down. I would prefer not to be. What's the worst that could happen? You might be in Kohl's and Uptown Funk might come on and you might decide to dance through the women's clothing department. Could it happen, Aunt? Oh, certainly can.
Has it happened?
Been there.
Yeah.
Yes, it has.
Yeah.
I believe
That's okay. I've danced on a hat, so what can I say?
That's true. That's true. We have a lot of store dancing in our history.
Yeah.
You guys also wore baskets as hats too.
That's true. That's true. We have a big hat thing. We have a hat thing, a dancing thing, a crazy thing. It's just the way we are.
The best.
Anyway, so let's do our gratitude because now we're past time. But this is so fun. I could just sit here for another couple hours and chat about creativity and all of the fun things there are to do when you're creative.
And how to build a wall your way.
And no kidding. But I'm more interested in that stuff that he put on the wall, because that to me sounds like
lots of fun.
Lots of fun. I love texturing.
I do too.
Like one of my most fun things. I don't like taping as much, but I do like the texturing part. Anyway,
yes, right. That fine edge. There's something about that. Like when you're painting. Mm-hmm.
I remember we did a wall at my dad's old place, and it's what his ex-girlfriend at the time wanted. And we put tape all over the walls on our own and did it to where there were like squares or diamonds on the wall. And then I can't remember what colors they were, but it was like a dark and a light. And then peeling the tape off and seeing the fine edge, that's like the best part about it. And the contrast.
I actually painted a tree in the art room, a tree with a big knot in it. And I'm going to put an owl up there in the tree. I can't show it to you now because the art room is so destroyed. But yeah, I just kept going. I just kept making tree limbs.
I love trees.
I really like it. It's really cool. But
so what are we
visiting soon and looking at that then?
What are we grateful for?
What?
What are we grateful for?
Yes, what are we grateful for? That's the question. I am grateful to all of you for taking time out of your Sunday to join me here at the beginning of the summer creative journal journey.
Yeah.
So grateful for all of your participation and just having creative people to share space and ideas with makes a huge difference.
I'm grateful I was able to get on here.
I'm grateful you were too.
And she's not bothering me. So, I mean,
Even more grateful.
it's kind of quiet in there, but I've heard stuff here and there. So I know she's alive. So we're good.
You can be grateful for that too.
Yes.
I'm grateful also for being able to be on here with you guys. It changed my perspective a little bit, and it helps me refocus, you know. But I'm also grateful for air conditioning, I have to say. It's 102, so I'm really grateful.
Yeah, it's a bit hot.
It's a bit hot. What about you, Matt?
Oh my goodness, so many things. Definitely just feeling grateful for everyone here, for this, our intention of showing up for how we want to be and live, and for you, Marva, and for creating this space for us to remember to take the breath, remember to play, remember to just engage with life in such a wonderful way. And I'm really looking forward to going through this journey day by day. Certainly inspires my personal practice of just showing up for me, and you providing such a fun journey for us to go on is just overwhelms me with gratitude and appreciation, and to play with Marva, you in this way as we create and share with others, and then as others join, that's just part of the creation process that just makes it so much more beautiful. So feeling very, 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 very grateful for that right now, and grateful that I get to dive into day one right after this call. How about you, Amanda?
I am grateful for just no matter where we are, so we're all in different places. I'm really grateful for that. I get to be part of this journey with you all, and like we experience a lot of things in life, and like through this journey that we're about to encounter with the creative journaling, I'm just really grateful for like this whole experience too, because yeah, like Marva, you created content and really showing up and like really being there for everyone who's interested in this journey, creative journaling for 30 days, which can make an impact on someone's life. And it's definitely making me feel like this is like a really good opportunity. So I'm really grateful for that. And I'm grateful to understand, to jump out of fear.
Yeah. We don't. I was just looking at Big Magic again, Elizabeth Gilbert's book on living a creative life. I was just looking at that again yesterday, and I just love the way she puts things. I could watch her and listen to her and read her for forever. But she says there's a difference between bravery and being fearless. And our goal is to be brave. It's not to be fearless. We're not going to ever be fearless. So apparently there are people who are fearless, but it's a short-lived lifespan. We have our fear. We have everything about us for a reason. Everything there is about you is there for a reason. So just embrace that. You know, we like to put things into little categories like light and dark and good and bad and right and wrong. And helpful and unhelpful. We like to put things into categories like that because we're kind of linearly organized in our brain that way. We can make sense out of the world that way. But the truth of the matter is that we just are. We are a being, a human being, a spiritual being. We are divine, and we are human. Human looks like this. Divine looks like this. And we're all of that. So I think that, it's like Matt with his wall. He knows how to build a wall. He looked, he found the information, the structure that he needed to build the wall. We know the battles that we're fighting. We've bumped up against them 1,000 times. We know the challenges. We know the changes. We know. We don't have to suffer through them. We know they're there. We take our summer time to embrace ourselves just like we are. Just like we are. And then little by little, celebrate those small wins, those times when we chose creativity over conditioning. We chose to be divine rather than human today. Maybe it was only for 2 seconds. Maybe it was for an hour. We can choose. We get to choose. And either one is okay. Either one is okay. We are okay. We're not flawed because we're human. We're not flawed because something happened to us once or twice or several times. It's not a flaw unless that's the label you want to put on it. We are. I am. That's large enough, fabulous enough, magnificent enough. So everybody have a wonderful Sunday, and I will see you all next week.
Same time next week.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Marva. Thank you, everyone.
Love you all.
Thank you.
Love you.
Love you. I'm glad I got to pop on here for a moment.
Me too.
I'll try to be on time next time, the best of my abilities.
Be where you are.
Luckily, I can rewatch this, so
Yep.
because it's recorded, so I'll get to hear all about the wall.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I know I missed stuff. I'm catching on to that. So
It's a great story.
Love you. Bye-bye.
Love you.
Love you.
Bye-bye.